Located at Sears Point, the southern end of the Sonoma Mountains in California, Sonoma Raceway is a racetrack that is just about as old school as you can get. Twisty, mountainous, and lean on runoff, it's a venue that is a holdover from the no-holds-barred days of the 60s that is still going strong in racing's modern age. Very little of the track is spent on full throttle, with unstable braking zones aplenty, big curbs, and little margin for error, if any, making this one of the most challenging tracks we visit in the V8 Supercar online Premiere series. Sonoma's history is not as romantic as other racetracks of its age, but it is an eventful one that speaks to the presence of business and money in motorsport. It started life as a joint venture between attorney Robert Marshall Jr. and land developer Jim Coleman, who came up with the idea of building a racetrack on the hillside of Sears Point while on a hunting trip in the region. The site for what was then called Sears Point Raceway had ground broken in 1968, and the circuit soon opened with a layout that only differs slightly from the present day. After just 1 year of operation, Marshall and Coleman sold the venue to entertainment company Filmways Corporation for $4.5 million US. Despite hosting a USAC IndyCar race among a steady events schedule, the track was not a financial success, and only a further year later, Filmways closed the track. A rocky start indeed, and for a time, things seemed to get rockier. The track was leased from Filmways by a new team of investors and reopened in 1974, but it did not last long. Over the next few years, the track changed hands many times, each for less and less money, eventually coming back under the control of Filmways and sold at auction in the early 1980s for $800,000. Fortunately, the track gained some stability hereafter, being resurfaced and getting permanent pit buildings in the mid-80s, and NASCAR racing at the circuit for the first time in 1989. By 1996, Sears Point was going strong, with Trans Am, NASCAR, and sports car racing all giving the facility a place on their schedules, and the International Speedway Corporation purchased the track to take its rise in prestige even further. The track was massively upgraded over the next few years. The chute was added, providing a shortcut for a NASCAR-only layout, and the hairpin was reprofiled. In the new millennium, the chute was reconfigured to its current form, the start-finish stretch was moved off the drag strip with the pit lane extended, and the circuit underwent yet more modifications to add alternative layouts, as well as more runoff where once there were hills right next to the track. With the upgrades came a naming rights deal with technology company Infineon, and the newly christened Infineon Raceway cemented its place as one of the US's top road racing venues. Though the naming rights deal ended in 2012, Sonoma Raceway continues to have a big presence in the racing scene, hosting the NASCAR Cup Series, the IndyCar Series, and a brief flirtation with the World Touring Car Championship. Local championships, racing schools, and track days aplenty mean that Sonoma is now one of the busiest racing venues in the United States. Sonoma has been a mainstay of V8 Supercars on iRacing since the very beginning of the series' tenure on the service, and with good reason. A twisty layout and massive elevation changes make it very difficult to lap consistently. One mistake, and your race is as good as over. Who will keep their cool, and who will slip up? Let's find out.